Plato, 428–427 BC, 348–347 BC, is one of the ancient Greek philosophers and is considered an important figure of Western philosophy. Plato is also known as Plato. Basic information about Plato is as follows. His teacher and students. Plato was a student of the famous philosopher Socrates and deepened his system of thought. Also, the historically important philosopher Aristotle was one of Plato's students. Philosophy. Plato wrote works on many philosophical subjects, but his most important works are known as the State, Politeia, the Republic, and in these works he thought about an ideal society and state structure. Plato's philosophy is based on the theory of ideas. According to him, reality is found in the world of universal and perfect concepts, which he calls ideas or forms, which are beyond the material world. The real world is an inadequate reflection of these ideas. Morality and justice. Plato gave great importance to justice, virtue and moral issues. In his work State, he thought about how justice should be ensured in an ideal state and how individuals should be educated so that they can lead a virtuous life. Education. Plato emphasized the importance of education and argued that education is a fundamental element in establishing the ideal society. According to him, philosophers or wise people should be the leaders of society because they have more knowledge about reality. Plato is a philosopher who had a great impact on Western philosophy with his philosophical thought. His ideas, especially on the ideal state and justice, had a deep impact on many later philosophers and thinkers. Plato's dialogues. Plato's philosophical thoughts are known through the works he wrote in the form of dialogues. These dialogues often include Plato's philosophical discussions with his teacher Socrates and conversations between other characters. Some of Plato's most famous dialogues include Apology of Socrates, Apologia, Gorgias, Phaedon, Symposium, Banquet, and Phaedrus. Plato's legacy. Plato's philosophy has left a great impact from the ancient Greek period to the present day. Especially during the Middle Ages and Renaissance periods, Plato's thoughts had a significant impact on Christian theology and Western philosophy. Plato's theory of ideas has been a debated issue for a long time in the history of philosophy. Aristotle and Plato. Aristotle, a student of Plato, deepened his thoughts and developed his own philosophical system. The philosophical differences between the two constitute one of the fundamental conflicts of ancient Greek philosophy. In particular, Aristotle criticized Plato's theory of ideas and developed a more concrete and world-oriented philosophy. Art and literature. Plato criticized the social effects of art and literature and argued that sometimes art could negatively affect society. Therefore, Plato's views on art and culture are also controversial. Plato's philosophy has been an important reference point in the field of philosophy since the ancient Greek period. His thoughts are still at the center of philosophical debates today and have inspired the work of many philosophers. Ideal state and society. Plato designed an ideal society and state structure in his work State. In this society, he proposed a system in which there were different classes and division of labor. According to him, at the top of society should be the philosopher king or government officials because they are the wisest and most virtuous people and can protect the best interests of society. Plato's ideal society symbolizes a society where justice and equality are ensured. Knowledge and learning. Plato emphasized the importance of learning and teaching knowledge. According to him, people have some basic knowledge from birth and education means remembering this knowledge. This idea is known as anamnesis. According to Plato, the knowledge obtained is beyond sensory experiences and true knowledge can be grasped through reason. Therefore, Plato emphasized the importance of philosophical education and suggested an ideal education system. Eternal and unchangeable ideas. One of Plato's most well-known philosophical doctrines is his theory of ideas. According to him, reality is found in the world of ideas or forms that lie beyond the material world and are unchangeable and eternal. For example, concepts such as beauty, justice, good and evil are reflections of ideas that exist independently of the changing properties of objects in the material world. This reflects Plato's view that the material world is temporary and changeable. Inner development of the individual, Plato gave importance to the inner development of the individual and gaining virtue. According to him, people should be educated and equipped with virtues such as wisdom, courage, moderation and justice. This is necessary for the individual to live a good life. Plato's philosophy has had a significant impact from ancient Greece to the present day and has been at the center of many philosophical discussions. His thoughts have been discussed and inspired in many different fields such as philosophy, politics, ethics, education and science. Plato's works have left a lasting impact on Western philosophy and the history of thought. Plato's approach to art and literature. Plato is also known for his views on art and literature. Especially in his work State, he discusses the negative effects of art on society. According to him, works of art do not reflect reality and cause emotional reactions, but these reactions are illusions of reality. For this reason, Plato suggested excluding some types of art from society. Plato's political views. Plato's political thoughts are explained in detail in his work State, which describes the ideal state structure and form of government. According to him, the wisest people in society should serve as philosopher kings. According to Plato, when justice and equality are achieved in a state, the society will be peaceful and prosperous. Plato and world thought. Plato sought reality in the world of ideas beyond the material world. According to him, the material world is variable and misleading, but the world of ideas does not change and the way to reach true knowledge is through here. This idea influenced Plato's thoughts on epistemology, the theory of knowledge. Plato and Socrates. Plato's philosophical thoughts are based on the thoughts of his teacher Socrates. In Plato's dialogues, Socrates often appears as an important character and is at the center of philosophical discussions. Approaches such as irony and questioning, which are Socrates' methods, form the basis of Plato's dialogues. Plato's philosophy has had a great impact on ancient and modern philosophy and has inspired discussion of many philosophical topics. His thoughts are still an important part of philosophical studies and discussions today. Plato's concept of creator God. Plato's understanding of God is different from Aristotle's understanding of God. According to Plato, God is the creator of the world of ideas. The world of ideas is thought and designed by the mind of God. Therefore, Plato's God is the creator of a world of perfect and immutable ideas. Plato's theories of dreams and consciousness. Plato also has thoughts on dreams and consciousness. According to him, dreams are moments when a person's soul separates from the body and the soul temporarily returns to the world of ideas. Additionally, Plato argued that consciousness is part of the process of achieving true knowledge and that this process can be improved through education. Plato and the concept of justice. Plato's concept of justice is fully realized in the ideal state. For him, justice means giving each individual what he deserves, and this is important for society to ensure the best situation for everyone. According to Plato, in order to ensure justice, each individual must fulfill his or her own function. Plato and eternal life. Plato thought about life after death and suggested that the soul continues its existence after death. According to him, the soul is immortal and death only means leaving the body. This idea has an impact on Plato's thoughts about moral responsibilities and death. Plato's thoughts have an important place in the history of philosophy and have been the source of in-depth thoughts and discussions in many different fields. Plato, who made important contributions to many subjects such as philosophy, politics, ethics, epistemology and metaphysics, is one of the fundamental names of Western philosophy. Plato, BC. He died in Athens in 348–347. Although there is no definitive information as to the cause of death, various historians and sources suggest that Plato died in his last years due to old age or as a result of an illness. Plato's death is considered an important turning point in ancient Greek philosophy. His philosophical legacy has been passed on to future generations through his living works and thoughts even after his death, and it still has a significant impact on the world of philosophy.